Why do you keep finding yourself in the same relationship patterns? Tell me. Why do you find yourself in the same shitty relationships? Why do you over and over again fall in love with people who are unavailable? Tell me. I know you're going to be like, hey, if I knew, I would have changed by now. I know it sucks. This feeling sucks of being in a position that you're like, I don't know why I keep becoming interested in these people. I don't know why I keep finding myself in the same relationships over and over again. It sucks. It sucks. So let me ask you a better question then. What do you gain by repeating these patterns? What do you gain by being in a relationship with unavailable people? What do you gain by finding the same unhealthy relationships over and over? Now you might say, hey, you lost your mind. Because if you think that there's a side of me that enjoys being in the situation, you're crazy. And I don't think the word is enjoy. But once I understood in my own life that, yes, there are going to be situations that consciously you're like, this sucks. And I don't want to be in this anymore. But subconsciously, there's a part of you that's gaining something out of the situation. Once you understand that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are not always in agreement, then you're able to address things properly. Then you're able to be like, okay, wait a second, there's something else that I need to look at besides just the idea of, okay, I suck at picking men, at choosing a partner. It's so much more than what we think. And until we start to open our eyes for the underlying factors that makes us pick the people that we choose, these patterns are going to continue to repeat in your life. So we have to become familiar with some concepts. We have to become familiar with some behaviors if we do want to change that and finally find a better relationship for us. So come have a seat at the adults table and let's talk about it. I'm Fernanda Rodriguez and welcome to the adults table. So the first thing you have to become familiar with is the concept of secondary gain. Secondary gain is an underlying gain, something that it's not conscious for you, but again, a part of you is actually benefiting from that situation. Even if you're in misery, that part of you is somehow benefiting from that situation. Why are you benefiting from it? Well, because that situation is either keeping me in a state that I can control. Even if I hate it, it's predictable. It's happened many times. So I know what to expect and it's comfortable. And our brains are always going to look for what's comfortable, for what's predictable. Number two, even if that situation is hurtful, it might be preventing you from getting into an even more hurtful situation. Let me explain what I mean by that. And I use my own example with this because the day that I understood and I realized that was a day that I was seeing this guy, random guy, and we were texting, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just started ghosting me. And I used to feel so crushed, so sad, so defeated whenever that happened, right? I was interested in someone, and somehow that person all of a sudden stopped responding. So that happened, and I was so sad. And at some point in that moment, I could feel deep down a part of me that was relieved, a part of me that was like, I knew this was going to happen. It's always like this. There is pleasure in saying those words. I knew this was going to happen. This is what always happens. It always happens to me. It was just a matter of time. When I say these things, I'm in control of the situation. I'm saying, I knew this was going to happen. It's always like this. I knew it. I knew it. So I'm in control, right? So it was so crazy when I realized and I noticed, I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling pleasure out of this somehow, which is insane. Insane. But again, it's just that comfort of the predictability. And then I started to question myself, okay, why is this a relief? Why deep down did I not want this to work out somehow? And let me tell you, that answer is not straightforward. It's not clear. I think it takes a lot of analysis, a lot of therapy to start getting in touch with the sides of you that are projected in the situations. And I think one way of getting in touch with this and understanding what part it is from you that is gaining something out of the situation is knowing that the way that you see yourself is going to be projected in the relationship. So I wasn't aware of this back then, but I became aware of the fact that I couldn't deal with my destructive side back then. I was someone who, growing up, I had a very strong personality. I still have a strong personality, but I couldn't control it back then. So it came off as bossy, as aggressive, and it came to a point that I had no friends because of my personality. Because I was so intense, quote unquote, that my friends just wouldn't want to play with me. They wouldn't want to be around me. And that was probably even throughout high school. So there was like a period of my life that I didn't have any friends. So I created this idea of myself that I was destructive. And by the way, all of us have a destructive side. And it's good to have a destructive side because you have to know how to end things when they're not healthy for you. And only a person that can destroy things is able of doing that. So if you know how to use this side in a healthy way, it's amazing. You have to have that. But if you don't, which was my case, then yeah, you push people away. So I created that idea of myself. And I created that idea of myself also in relationships. That idea was very solid subconsciously, not consciously. That wasn't something that I would think of all the time. But subconsciously, that was the case. So why would I want to be in a relationship with a cool person and a cool guy if deep down I think that I'm going to fuck it up? Why would I want that for myself? If I hate dealing with myself in that position, if I hated dealing with a destructive side, why would I want that? Why would I want to be in a situation that was even a possibility? And what's fucked up about this, and I don't know if any of you can relate, but what's fucked up about this is that you start to self destruct, which is so freaking stupid. So you don't want to do this, but you end up doing it just because, again, you continue to be in that same spot, in the same situation, and it's predictable. It's so weird. It's hard to get out of it, and until you become aware of it, things don't change, and until you take ownership of it. So I was finding myself in the same types of situations with people that didn't want anything to do with me. They would show some interest and then they would just be like, no thanks. And although that made me feel really sad, it also made me feel relieved because that meant that I wouldn't have the opportunity and the chance to destroy it. So we start running away from the things that we fear the most about ourselves, and we start to subconsciously put ourselves in the opposite situation. So that thing that we fear can never happen or can never happen in the way that hurts us that bad. So you have to start questioning, how do you actually see yourself deep down? What are the sides of you that you're afraid of, or that you repress, that you don't want to deal with? Because they're definitely going to come out in relationships and you're going to have to learn how to deal with them, which is also the beauty of relationships, in my opinion, which is your partner becomes a mirror to you and vice versa. So all of the things that are unconscious in you are going to come out in the relationship. And by the way, when you're in a healthy relationship, then that becomes the challenge, right? Because when you're in a healthy relationship, you're so concerned about things that should be basic and there are basic that you don't have the time, you don't have the space to look at yourself. You don't even get to that point because there's so much noise. It's, oh, does he like me? Does he not like me? It's so much stupid shit that you're thinking about, you're worried about, that you don't even go to a place of actually self development. Once you are in a relationship that's reciprocal, that's someone who appreciates you and loves you, then that's where the real work begins. Because all the things that are unconscious in you are going to come out somehow. And then you're going to have the responsibility of saying, okay, I choose to look at myself. Because when you're in a noisy relationship, it's easy with all of the noise to just be like, yeah, fuck this person. Everything is wrong with this person. Everything that's wrong in this relationship is because of this person, so on and so forth. But when you're in a healthy relationship, you start being like, okay, I'm going to have to work on myself if I want this to work out. I'm going to have to be willing to look at myself if I want this to work out. And not only for this to work out, but if I want to become more like myself and if I want to continue to expand myself. And again, that's the beauty of relationships. And that's why I think relationships are sacred, because we can see ourselves in the other person. They're going to become a mirror to you. Relationships, remember this, are between four people in four parts. It's you, your partner, your unconscious mind, and their unconscious mind. And you have to find a way of navigating this, which is why it's so challenging and so beautiful. So you have to understand that with the good comes scary things. Don't assume that just because something is great for you, theoretically. So in your mind, you're like, this would be a great situation. That situation doesn't come with something that deep down scares you. You have to understand that it's not just, oh, this is good, this is bad. No, it's both. It's a great situation. The idea of it is amazing, but it might come with something that scares you. It might come with the idea that that person might leave you. So why not just find unavailable people? And one way of looking at this, and one way of also trying to spot these inconsistencies, is paying attention to what you say and what you do. This is where we show exactly how our unconscious mind thinks. Let's stick with the unavailable example. You know, those people who say, I don't know why I always find unavailable men. I don't know why I only become interested in unavailable men, yada, yada. And then they would find yet another unavailable man. And once they realize that they're unavailable, instead of just getting out of the relationship, they stay. So their action, they're saying something to themselves and to life. They're saying, hey, life, I want a man who's available. But when it comes down to it, when it comes down to the moment of being like, okay, life, and okay, myself, I'm proving to you that I really don't want an available man, and that's why I'm leaving this unavailable person, then you don't do it. So your actions contradict what you're saying. Whenever this happens, you can be sure that there's a disconnect between what you want consciously and what you want subconsciously. So if you find yourself in the same relationship patterns, start to question this. Start to question if there's a side of you that gains something out of the situation. Start to question, how do you actually see yourself? Start to question, what's the bad that comes with the good? What's the bad that comes with a healthy relationship for me? Start to question, do my actions match my words? So everything I talked about is pretty much about how you see yourself. That's going to influence the way that you show up, the people you attract, and where you decide to stay. The other thing that you have to think about is, where are you looking for these people? Because maybe, yeah, guess what? Maybe this part is sorted out, kind of. Maybe this part is not as bad for you. Okay. And yet, you don't find people that match what you're looking for. Obviously, there's a side of things that is just, it takes time to find people. It's not just, oh, okay, I'm walking down the street and I just found my husband over there. It might happen, it might not. So, yeah, things take time. Fine. But one thing that you also have to question is, where am I looking for these people? Am I occupying the places and going to the places that I want to be? Because if I am, chances are that I find someone who matches my vibe. If I only go to places that I don't want to be, why the fuck am I going to find someone there that matches my energy and the person who I want to become? Go to the places that you want to occupy, that you want to be part of. And then maybe you're going to find your person in that place because it matches who you are and what you like and what you're looking for. Stop going to the same places. Sometimes you don't even feel like you belong there anymore. So why would you find someone who's the right person for you, or who's a right person for you, if that place that you're looking for is not even the right place for you at the moment? So by becoming the person that you want to be, you're also going to attract a person who matches that. That became very clear to me when I found my partner, because back in Brazil, if I tell you about my dating life in Brazil, you're going to cry because it was so depressing. I kid you not, it was just, mhm. Anyway, but I always knew that I didn't want to stay in Brazil long term, always. And I always had the goal of, I want to move countries, I want to go work somewhere else. And when I finally got the opportunity to go to Colombia and move to Colombia, that was, first of all, the best moment of my life. It was awesome. It was so good because I was like, okay, I'm doing what I want to do. So when I moved to Colombia, I was so happy with myself and the places that I was going to. I was so happy with the way that I was approaching my own life and that I was showing up for myself, that I found someone that was in that same energy, literally the same energy, because he was also there working abroad, very similar aspirations, and was also going after it. So, my question for you is, are you going to the places that you want to go? Are you creating the life and building the life that you want to build for yourself? Because the person that you're looking for might be there, not here, not in your current places that you go to that you don't want to be in anymore. So, start building your life towards that. It's not magic. It's not, no, it's just life. The chances of you meeting someone that is a good fit for you is going to increase if you're going to the right places. The right places meaning the places that you actually want to be at. I hope this helps you with some insights, and I am confident that you're going to find someone who is the perfect fit for you.